Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 singers from the 1980s who you may have forgotten were awesome.
This heart could be yours.
Number 10, Corey Hart.
Never surrender.
Corey Hart found a mainline to pop perfection, resulting in a string of top 40 hits in the mid-80s. Songs like Never Surrender and Sunglasses at Night were as fun and infectious as anything Hart's contemporaries were putting out. And he even sustained chart success into the 1990s.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can.
Since the turn of the century, Hart has made several comebacks, with his most recent release coming in 2023. As a member of the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, his legacy will endure. But a surprising number of 80s music fans have never even heard some of his best songs. And trust us, there are quite a few of them that are worth listening to.
Ransom. I got the dinosaurs mad.
Number 9, Taylor Dayne. When it comes to frantic and totally energetic dance pop, Taylor Dayne is the type of artist who really helped define the genre. The 80s truly was a golden era for dance floor stompers, and in 1987, Dayne burst onto the scene with a run of incredibly catchy and danceable hits. Sure, you've probably heard her smash hit Tell It to My Heart at the very least, but in the late 80s and early 90s, Dayne consistently put out some of the best music in her field. They really don't make pop music quite like this anymore, do they? This kind of music will always be fun, and Dayne knew that special secret ingredient for making it click from day one. Number 8, Gary Numan. In the world of synth-driven pop music, so much of what dominated the charts in the years that followed would not be there if it weren't for Gary Numan. He burst onto the scene at the very end of the 1970s with his band Tubeway Army before going solo. Songs like Cars and We Are Glass were so far ahead of their time that they sound like they could have been released in the 2020s. Numan's influence on modern music is undeniable, and within his genre, you'd be hard-pressed to find any artist who hadn't owned one of his records at some point during their life. Number 7, Richard Marx. On the long list of unmistakable 80s hitmakers, you really can't do much better than Richard Marx. He holds the distinction of being the only male artist to ever have his first 7 singles chart in the top 5 of Billboard. And over the course of his entire career, between his work as a singer, songwriter, and producer, he hit the number 1 spot on 14 different occasions. And it's not hard to see why.
And I slowly go insane. I hear your voice.
Right Here Waiting is a bona fide classic, but even a quick listen to his back catalog will be enough for you to find some new favorites. When it comes to the true greats of 80s music, Richard Marx doesn't get mentioned half as much as he should.
Memories. If only I could give him up.
Number 6, Grace Jones.
Like the night, waiting for the day.
The word unique gets thrown around a whole lot in relation to musicians, but Grace Jones is truly one of a kind. She was as much of a style icon as she was a pop hero, and after kicking off her career in 1977, she found mainstream success in the early 80s. Her first few albums failed to make any impact critically or commercially, but things truly changed for Jones with the release of 1981's seminal album Nightclubbing. This is when we finally saw her come into her own, ditching the disco-infused sound of her early career for something that was entirely new and unmistakably of her own creation. And from there, she had a string of dance singles that set her legacy and influence in stone. Number 5. Nina Hagen.
One can see her eyes. Excuse me, less full of lies.
Known as the godmother of German punk, Nina Hagen lived up to that title in more ways than one. Theatrical by nature, Hagen started her career as an actor before pivoting to music as a member of the band Automobile. The fact that she did not achieve major success in the US should not stop you from checking out her work. She flew under the radar enough to maintain her punk status throughout her best years, and singles like Smack Jack and New York, New York hold up incredibly well.
We are going to another disco, disco after disco, and shaking our hand to the disco rap.
Nina Hagen had no interest in conforming to anyone's standards, and we still love her for it.
Talking to myself, talking to myself, I'm always talking to myself, I'm my own radio.
Number 4. Ronnie James Dio.
For every moment of truth, there's confusion in life.
Black Sabbath had already trailblazed the genre of heavy metal by the time Ozzy Osbourne was eventually fired for his volatile behavior. But they somehow managed to find the perfect replacement. In his short stint with Sabbath and his solo career, the late Ronnie James Dio singled himself out as one of the greatest metal vocalists of all time. He had the range, the dynamics, the songwriting capabilities, and one hell of a stage presence.
Just remember, it might start rolling in. Get you right now.
Dio brought a level of medieval and fantasy intrigue to the genre, something he perfected on his first album post-Sabbath with his band Dio. Their first album, Holy Diver in particular, is one of the greatest heavy metal records of all time.
Holy diver, you're the star of the masquerade.
Number 3. Jody Watley.
Want me? Don't you want me to touch you and to hold you tight?
Jody Watley had all the ingredients necessary to be an enduring star, and yet she doesn't tend to get mentioned all that often alongside some of her contemporaries. After leaving the group Shalimar, she embarked on a solo career that produced a Grammy win and multiple hits, including 7 US dance chart number 1s.
I'm looking for a new love, baby, a new love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In her music, you can hear the blueprint for so much of what would eventually follow in the dance pop and R&B genres. And though some people have revisited her career in recent times, she is still rarely mentioned when it comes to the greatest singers of the 80s. But trust us, she has the track record to warrant it.
Real love, got to have real love. Real love, I know I wanna have.
Number 2. Billy Ocean. The 80s were simply more fun with Billy Ocean around. There was nothing too crazy or sophisticated about what he did, but he brought an energy to pop music that sounds especially fresh even to modern listeners. For over a decade, Ocean was a main player in the global charts, achieving several number 1 hits and Grammy nominations, including 1 win. But as soon as he achieved everything he wanted, he decided to leave the business behind him, opting instead to spend more time with his family. Sure, he eventually returned to touring, and still does to this day, but perhaps his inactivity through most of the 90s and 2000s is the reason why he's not as well known as he should be. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Martha Davis.
And suddenly, last summer.
Even when an artist has a couple of big hits, they can often be forgotten about. Or in the case of Martha Davis and her work with the Motels, people have severely overlooked the strength of her back catalog.
Only the lonely can play.
There's a good chance you've heard a hit record like Only the Lonely, but really, that song only scratches the surface. Davis is an incredible singer, full of emotion and edge. But to really get a sense of her best work, you gotta dig a little deeper. The Motels had their best run from 1979 up to 1985, before Martha eventually went solo. And there are a whole bunch of hidden gems scattered throughout that discography.
Don't tell me the time, so time can be cruel.
But who do you think was the most underrated artist of this era? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.